Hey, welcome into the Week 11 prediction show. We're going to make this one a little fast, so stick with us. We're going to get into every game, every team. We're going to talk about also the records going into it. Carlos, do you want to refresh the fans right there? Because I'm the host, Todd Fox. This is the other host of the show.
Yeah, starting off with the records, Randy, he's got a 57 wins, 29 losses on predictions. Todd, you've got 88 wins and 62 losses with the tie. And then I've got 82 wins, 68 losses, and the tie.
All right, so we're good to go on this. We got Randy's predictions. We're good to go. We might have him in on this, actually, if he wants to join in. We'll see if
You probably got to give him a second because we just started up, and he's probably going to get the alert, or he's got to refresh his phone.
Yeah, if anything, right now what I'll do is I will send him a link real quick. Let's see. Yeah, I could probably send him a link while we're getting it going here. Hold on.
Well, you do that. Let's give the viewers and the audience a chance to hit the subscribe button and make sure to hit the like and tell your friends about us. We're just trying to catch a little bit of algorithm, and good things will come if we eventually blow up from this show. Looking to do some cash apps, some jersey giveaways, and customized jersey giveaways, and maybe give if we ever do make it big time, we'll pay for some. I know what I want to do is get some fans some NFL merch and then send them out to a home NFL game of their favorite team. So help us and we'll help you.
Exactly. We're right there. I'm going to have to give a shout out to Randy as he got on here on the live right now. I got to do it next time before we start. I'll do that to invite him because right now it's not letting me while we're live. So Randy, if you can this time next week, if you can get on the live with us, that'd be great. We'll have him on with his picks. I know he wanted to get on this week, but we'll see if I can get him on next week for sure.
You can call him on Facebook Messenger right now on video chat or video chat, and then put it on speaker.
It'd be kind of hard to link up like that. The sound wouldn't sound too good. So that's what I'm saying. Like I want to get him a Zoom meeting invite. That would probably work a lot better. But I don't know.
It'll definitely be fun and worth it.
Yeah, because I think we can next week because we'll only do this show on Wednesday. I just screwed up because I forgot to ask him. So that's my bad, Randy. My bad.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into this prediction show. Right off the bat, we have an interesting game. Right off the bat, it's the Green Bay Packers at home, 4-6. Can they get to 5-6, or will Tennessee keep rolling? They are 6-3. Tennessee coming in. Let me get the stats on this one real quick. Let me see. They are a 3-point underdog to the Packers. Believe it or not, it'll be 31 degrees and a chance of snow, light snow. So what are your thoughts on this one? Who do you got in this one?
This is going to be a tough one because of what Green Bay just did. But Green Bay, I'm telling you, they had an emotional game. I think that Green Bay, they put everything into this game, the game against the Dallas Cowboys. They were trying in that game against the Dallas Cowboys. And then somehow, some way, they found a way to win that game. It was at home. Too much momentum. Not too much momentum. Too much emotion went into that game. And what normally happens when a team puts too much emotion into one game, the following week they come out pretty flat. And this isn't a normal type of week for Green Bay. Yes, it's at home, but it's also a Thursday night primetime game, so their schedule is just completely messed up. They've had a bad year. Tennessee's been a little bit more. They've been a lot more consistent, actually. They've got a chance of making the playoffs. They haven't had no really bad games or no letdowns or anything like that. And plus, they got the big beast in the backfield like Derrick Henry. Green Bay's poor against the run. Mike Vrabel, lazy eye as you like to call him. I look at him like he's slightly better as a coach because he's doing a lot more with less talent than Matt LaFleur with Aaron Rodgers. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans with the upset because they're 3-point underdogs. So I'm going with Tennessee in this one.
Randy seems to think the same. He's going with the Packers. He's saying Jets Packers Super Bowl. LOL. But I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans in this game. I think I think they'll be able to run the game against the Packers. I think this will be a lot closer than we thought. And the Packers on a short week, a very emotional win. Titans, same thing. If the Titans are going to do anything this year at all, they got to win this game. They can't lose a game like this to the Green Bay Packers because in the Green Bay Packers, not necessarily are going to be favored to make a run to the postseason, but they're going to definitely get back into things with a win here. So that could be motivation. But with all that being said, give me the Titans in this one. So 2-1 right there as Randy picks the Packers. That will jump us on to an interesting game because, again, there's going to be a lot of interesting games moving forward. This will be the Chicago Bears, 3-7, coming off a disappointing home loss to the Lions against the Atlanta Falcons, who've dropped 2 straight. They fall to 4-6, 3-2 at home. They've been up and down so far. I keep saying the Titans. The Falcons are 3-point favorites in this one against the Bears at home. Obviously, they play in the Dome, so the weather's not a factor. All I'll say in this one is that the Bears are averaging 21 points a game scoring. They're allowing 24 points a game, which is kind of high for the Bears. And then also the Falcons are just your middle-of-the-road team. They're averaging almost 24 a game and giving up 25. So who do you got in this game and why?
Well, if it was in Chicago, I would go with Chicago, but it's in Atlanta, and I think that Atlanta's going to be playing a lot more faster. They had a letdown game in the division against the Carolina Panthers that did not look like anything that they have been previous to that game. Against Carolina, that was a primetime game. They're itching to get back on the field. Chicago should have won that game against the Lions. So now I think that they're going to take that losing momentum into Atlanta. They might make it a game. I wouldn't be surprised if either team won or lost this game, honestly. Well, I'm going to go with the home team on this one only because I think Atlanta needs this win a lot more to stay in contention with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the division, and they want to make the playoffs. But so do the Bears. So like I said, I would not be surprised if the Bears won this one. But I'm going to go with the home team because I think that in a dome, Atlanta is used to that type of turf. They're going to have the home field advantage. And I don't know, Justin Fields has to prove it to me to be on the road against a team that's trying to make the playoffs. So give me Atlanta on this one.
Okay, you got Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go with Randy on this one. Randy went with the Bears. I'm going to go with Justin Fields to be running wild on that Falcons defense in the dome and on that turf. I got a good vibe on the Bears rebounding against the Falcons after that terrible home loss. So, this could be the nail in the coffin for the Atlanta Falcons. If they win, they're back in it, like you said. But I just got a feeling about the Bears in this one. I think that their defense is a lot stronger than Atlanta is, and I think that's going to keep them in the game. And I think Fields makes just enough plays to get the victory. So we'll go with the Bears on that one. Let's move to the next game, which is going to be the Carolina Panthers going into Baltimore. The Baltimore Ravens are heavy favorites on this one, 13 by exact. They're 13-point favorites. Panthers are 3-7. Baltimore is 6-3. In this game, the weather is going to be 51 degrees and a chance of rain. So we'll see what happens right there. As far as the stats right here, Baltimore is very healthy, 26 points a game, giving up 21 a game. Who do you got in this one and why?
Who's going to be the starting quarterback for Carolina? Is that Baker?
It looks like it's going to be Baker, yeah.
Oh, yeah, give me Baltimore. Give me Baltimore on that one. I don't have any faith in Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold. Had P.J. Walker been the starting quarterback, I would consider Carolina, but because they got Deontay Foreman, I want to say his name is, right? The running back. He's been playing pretty good. And then Terrace Marshall, the wide receiver, has been playing pretty good with P.J. Walker. And it just doesn't look like Carolina knows what they're doing over there by putting Baker Mayfield as their starter. I don't buy into anything Carolina anymore, dude. I've given up. Carolina, I'm picking against them from here on out, so I'm going Baltimore.
Okay, that sounds about right. So, with that being said, we're all in agreement. I'm going to go with the same thing. Baltimore looks like they're going to roll them. It's one of those games, and right here too, you have the Ravens. Randy he goes with the Ravens right there. Also, let's see. Sonia in the comments says they just announced Heineke will start against the Texans, so keep that in mind.
And it's Texans too. Oh my God.
Yeah, keep that in mind as our picks move forward.
I think that's going to be a clean sweep, honestly. Should I just mark it down as clean sweep, or should I just wait?
That's a clean sweep right there. It's Ravens. Yeah. So that moves us on to our next game, which is the Cleveland Browns. 3-6, 1-3 on the road. They go to a very pissed off Buffalo Bills, who are 6-3, coming off that epic loss to the Minnesota Vikings. In this game, the Browns are only 8-point underdogs, and the over/under is at 41. I think that's kind of low. I think they're considering Orchard Park, New York, is going to be 42 degrees and a rain/snow type weather feel there in Buffalo. But right now, Cleveland is not playing inspired football at all. They are giving up a lot of yards on the ground and through the air, and they've also given up 27 points per game. I think this plays into Buffalo. I think Buffalo snaps back at them, don't you think?
It's good, man. I'm so eager to. I'm itching to pick the Browns on this one only because, but I'm not going to. I'm going with Buffalo, but I'm going with Buffalo in this one, but what I would say is if Cleveland somehow, some way wins this game is because Buffalo had so much going right into that game against Minnesota. They basically that was like a playoff type of game. Everybody's saying it's the game of the year, and how much of that energy got taken out of Buffalo for that game? And are they going to be overlooking the Cleveland Browns or like what? It's going to be a funky game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a close game. I'm sure everybody's going to be like, oh, they're 8-point underdogs. The Browns they're going to get blown out. But we've seen it time and time again where the underdogs win. But I'm sticking with Buffalo on this one. But don't be surprised if it's a really close game because of all the emotions and energy that was spent from Buffalo versus Minnesota.
Exactly, and I'm thinking the Bills win easy. I think in this game though, they could have a letdown. You're right, but the Browns will I think keep it close for a bit. But I think the Bills are a far superior team. Randy seems to think so too. He says, as a Jets fan, he's picking the Bills, but really hopes the Browns win.
The Browns win, bro. The Buffalo Bills are in trouble. Yeah. They are in deer trouble.
They sure
I'm talking about they're in a type of trouble like a deer looking into some headlights from a semi coming straight at it 80 or 100 miles straight at it, bro. They're going to get they might miss the playoffs if they lose this game against Cleveland. That's crazy to say, right?
Yeah, I mean, they could get into a downward spiral, and you don't want to do that.
Man, that would be crazy if Buffalo misses the playoffs and they go on a losing streak because of that loss to Minnesota. That would be insane.
Yep. And now you have, like we said, we had a couple games to start with Green Bay, Tennessee, Atlanta, Chicago that are very interesting, kind of coin flip type games. Then you had Baltimore, Carolina, which is a blowout, and Buffalo, Cleveland, which we went with a clean sweep again, which could potentially be potentially be a blowout. And then you get into a game like this, which on paper doesn't look like much of a game. But again, we've been talking about it all season. The Houston Texans have been playing very tough and really not being a pushover. You're going to have to earn a victory against them. And they don't have the firepower to necessarily come back, but they're going to fight scratch, kick, and claw in most of these football games. And they're playing another team similar to that, which is the Washington Woke. The Woke are now 5-5. They look to go ahead to be above 500 at 6-5 as they take on the Texans, who are 1-7 at home. They are 3-point road favorites in this game. They're looking to continue to get things going. They're playing a team that's averaging only 16.5 points a game, which is the Texans. And it was just reported by our breaking news reporter Sonia that Carson Wentz will not be in the game and Heineke will get another start. So what are your predictions on this game?
This could be – look, everybody's going to go with Washington on this one. Everybody's going to pick them to win because based off the last two games against Minnesota and against the Eagles. But you also have to look at it like how you've been pointing out, how Houston's been getting to these tight games. And if Houston can take control of the ball and take the ball away from Washington and, just milk the clock and keep it really, really close, it keeps Taylor Heineke off balance. It keeps him on the bench. It keeps him getting cold. And that could be a problem for Washington right there. And I would not be surprised if Houston wins this one. I want to pick Houston, but I'm going to go with the team that has a good thing going for them. But honestly, I feel like that could be a trap for everybody in the world, bro. It could be like a mind trick because Washington, are they really that good or have they just been playing up to their opponent's competition? Because if that's the case, then they're going to play down to their opponent's competition and they'll end up losing against the Houston Texans. So you know what? I'm going with the Houston Texans in this one. I like Washington. I really like Washington, but I'm going to go with the Houston Texans because Houston can sneak up on Washington, and Washington can be that type of team where they come out and they're like gangbusters and they're like, we've been playing really good the last 2-3 weeks, the last month without Carson Wentz and all this and that. But Houston's also a dangerous team that you do not want to overlook because they get into these tight games and, it's just going to be one of them trap games for me. I'm going with Houston.
All right. I'm going to go with, I thought we were going to do a clean sweep on this. Randy is going to go with the Woke. I'm going to do the same thing. He said that also the Jets would have sent the Bills on their spiral officially if that were to happen. But right now, I believe right now that the Texans can play with the woke, but Heineke, man, there's something about him. If he does not turn the ball over in this game, they should win. So yeah, I'm going to go with the woke in this one. I think they're going to get the job done. And lo and behold, 4 teams in that division, 11 weeks in, will be over 500.
Bro, like you're falling into the same trap. Like Heineke has these moments. He has these boneheaded moments, like that one interception against the Eagles the other night on Monday Night Football. He just lobbed it up there. And then he had a terrible interception against the Vikings when he threw it right at Harrison Smith. Like sometimes he'll throw the ball before he actually looks at the receiver. Like he'll just automatically assume that a receiver's right there before making eye contact or looking at the receiver. Like, yeah, he's getting there, but he's not there yet. Like the team is riding on a high right now, but you also have to look at it like this. Why was the team so bad before Taylor Heineke went in there? Taylor Heineke was just that battery that was missing, and that battery's probably not going to come through this week, bro. I'm sticking with Houston. Watch, they're going to win.
Well, I mean, based on that, it kind of reminds me of sometimes the Packers would have these games with Brett Favre himself that would basically, he would be they'd lose to teams that he shouldn't have lost to. He did that in a few times in his career. I know because I watched a lot of games with my dad. He's a big Packer fan. He lived and died with Brett Favre, and sometimes they'd be playing Detroit. They'd be playing a Washington-type team that wasn't that good or whatever, and Brett Favre would lay an egg up there, and they'd lose.
Yeah.
So, maybe Heineke's the same. You'll be proven right if that happens, but I just think right now the woke are on a mission to try to make the postseason as well. So I'm going to go with the woke in this one as well.
If they do win, the record in the last 5 games with Heineke would be 4-1.
It'd be hard to go back to a guy who has a losing record. Believe me.
That's why I'm going against the Washington, bro, because I don't think Washington can. But then again, Houston is a bad team, but they keep it close. I don't know. Let's just move on to the next one because I'm waffling on this one really, really bad, bro. Let's just move on to the next one.
Well, that could be the upset game of the week. Who knows? But here's my upset game of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles, 8-1, will go on the road. They are 7-point favorites, and as they go into Indy and play Jeff Saturday, who's 4-5-1. The Colts, again, the weather will not play a difference in this game. The over-under is 44 in this game. The Jets, fresh off a loss to the Woke that we just talked about, and the Colts, fresh off a victory against the Raiders. Are we looking too much into the loss of the Eagles more, or are we looking more into the win over the Raiders for the Colts?
Go blue. I'm going Colts. I think that not Jeff Saturday. How did I get Jeff Saturday? It's because I'm thinking of Jeff Saturday being the head coach and with the Colts. But Dallas they're going down. That's massive right there for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's out for the season. So now what are they going to do at tight end? Not only is he a tight end, but he's a good blocking tight end. And then A.J. Brown didn't look like himself. Devontae Smith hasn't played like anything like the first round pick that he was drafted to be. And then the cornerbacks looked a little bit vulnerable against Washington last week. And then the Colts, they might pull off a 2-game win streak right now, bro, with Jeff Saturday. So don't be surprised if the Colts win, which I'm picking the Colts to win, bro. I think that the Eagles are going to start facing the Colts are going to give them help, bro. The Colts are going to give them a nasty game that the Eagles aren't ready, bro. They're going to keep the ball and they're going to follow what Washington did. And then the Colts got a pretty good defense themselves. They were just led by a bad coach. But if you remember a few years ago, the Colts were considered like the number 1 overall defense because they got the job done. And now that they've got a new coach in town, he could serve that new energy boost. And I just think that the Colts are going to give the Eagles a nasty one, bro. They're going to give them a fat ass, though. I think the game is in where's the game at?
It's in Indy.
Oh, yeah, give me the Colts. Give me the Colts in this one.
I really think that if Jeff Saturday is fixing that offensive line with different schemes and different protection looks and slide protections, things of that nature, I think the Colts are going to do something good right here because, again, as old as Matty Ice is, if you give any quarterback extra time in the pocket and you're more, you can free up wide receiver screens. And if Taylor had his best game all year, again, the Raiders defense, it's not because of the talent that they're bad. It's because of the coaching. But yeah. the Colts outcoached him. They made holes. He had his best game of the season in week 10. If Taylor's rushing for anything close to 100 yards, I think the Colts win this game because that'll give Matty Ice that play action that he hasn't had all year.
Yeah, it's going to be a game of if the Colts can take care of the ball, that's what it's going to come down to. But if the Eagles get a turnover here and there, then the Eagles are going to run away with it. But if the Colts follow what the Washington Woke did, then they're going to come away with the W because the Colts have a good defense. And AJ, there's doubt. I believe it or not. And then another one that I wanted to point out before I forget, I want to call them the Colts. The Eagles, they just signed Linval Joseph. He was good with Minnesota back when we made the playoffs in 2017. They called him Linval Hungry. But Linval Joseph, he just got signed to the Eagles defensive line. That's a huge sign right there that they don't have good depth, bro. They traded for the Chicago Bears. Remember, what's his name? Smith, I want to say his last name is?
Yeah.
Or whoever it was, they just traded. That lets me know, just like what Randy said on the previous show, when you do all these trades, that means you haven't developed players, bro. The Eagles are starting to show cracks, bro. The Eagles are starting to show cracks in the month of November, bro. Remember what they always said? This goes before my time of watching football. Real teams start showing like contenders versus pretenders. That's what I was looking for. Contenders versus pretenders. In the months of September and October, that's where the pretenders start like really shine. But in the months of November and December, that's where the contenders really shine right there, and the pretenders go away.
Exactly. Randy checked in with he's predicting 3 touchdowns, 2 picks by Heineke in this game, or in the previous game. I'm sorry. And then let's see. Also, Sonia says sloppy starts will kill him. And then Randy checks in with his pick with the Eagles. He says he'll be definitely surprised though if the Colts win. I don't think it'll be. I think if this game was on the road, I'd be surprised if the Colts win. But this is a nail biter either way because they're not. I mean, they're 7-point underdogs at home, so it'd definitely be an upset right here.
Minnesota was a 7-point underdog in Buffalo too.
Yeah, look what happened there. Now let's get to a game that's very near and dear Randy's heart.
I didn't get your pick. You're going with the Eagles on that one?
I'm going with the Colts.
You're going with the Colts. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts. I think they get the victory in this one. All right, so let's move on to the Jets, the Jets, Jets, who are 6-3. They go into New England 5-4. That entire division is over 500. This is a good game. Again, another good game on the docket. Another evenly matched football game. The Jets are 3-point underdogs. The over-under is a low 38, so they're anticipating a defensive battle right here. The Jets are averaging nearly 22 points a game at 21.8. They are allowing just a stingy 19 points a game, but also the Patriots are almost the same. They're averaging 22 points a game, and they're giving up only 18.4 points a game. They're both averaging about 340 yards per game. And the yards per allowed are within 5 yards either. This is as even as it comes down to. But I think the Jets have more talented breakout players. But then again, the Patriots have established players. So it's the young versus the old. Who wins this game?
Man, I want to. Yeah, I'm here. I'm just in deep thought of this one. I keep going back. I'm trying to picture how the game was going to get played out.
Oh, real quick, Foxborough, 48 degrees and sunny. No rain.
Oh man, yeah. I'm trying to make an honest pick in this one. I know Randy's going to probably go with the Jets in this one, and a lot of people are going to go with the Jets. They're thinking that the Jets are going to not commit the turnovers that they did a few weeks ago when they played against the Patriots. I think it was in New York. This game's in New England, like you said, Foxborough. See, I think the Jets are going to – what I think is going to happen, I think that the Jets are going to overthink themselves. They're going to go into this position where, they're going to go into this game thinking we've got to keep the ball away from the New England Patriots. That's exactly what the Patriots want you to do at this point in time because Mac Jones isn't playing – Mac Jones or your Bailey Zappi aren't they're not playing all that good. So keep them off the field as much as you want. Let them play minimal minutes and make plays here and there. But if the Jets try to take the ball, like they say they want to play time, chew the clock and all that, it's only going to help out the Patriots because the Patriots got defense and they can smother the run game. And then the Jets, they do have a really good team going over there, man. This is a really tough game to pick. I don't think home field really plays a factor in this one. But I'm only going to go with the Jets in this one only because the Patriots after this game, they go into Minnesota on Thursday for the Thanksgiving game. That's going to be the late game, and I think that's going to throw their schedule off. And they're going to look. They're looking at the schedule. They probably won't admit it because you know how Bill Belichick and his boring style is. They're not going to admit to anything. But I have a feeling that that's going to throw in a wrench in their schedule. They're not used to playing on Thursdays or on Thanksgiving or whatever. But I think that the Jets are going to win only because it's throwing out their schedule, that Thursday night game against the Vikings. And Bill Belichick is probably looking at the Vikings more than he is the Jets, because that'll be more of a statement win against the Vikings. It's on prime time and everything. So give me the Jets on this one.
Okay, I'm going to go the opposite on this one. I'm going to go with the I'm going to go with the Jets. Well, you went with the Patriots or the Jets? I'm sorry,
Jets.
I missed that. Okay, you went with Jets. I'm going to go with the Jets on this one as well. Big surprise, Randy's going to go with the Jets. He says blood revenge right here.
I don't know about that, man. It's going to be a close one.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This is the first time that I can remember that the Jets are even with the Patriots, like directly even with the Patriots, like talent-wise, coaching-wise. I really do like what they've done, Robert Saleh. I was very, very, very not surprised to see what Saleh has done with that team. They've seemed to have bitten into a particular culture that Saleh wants. The Jets' defense looks very good. It's like what Sonia put here. She said the Jets are going to put some sauce on them Pats.
Ooh,
And,
I like that one. That was what is that? That's a nice little catchphrase. Not catchphrase, but pun. That's a nice pun.
It's a very nice pun. And you know what? The Jets defense has been playing outstanding. Again, they didn't lose that game in New York because of the defense. Each Monkey checks in. What's up, Each Monkey?
What's going on? Look.
I think that the Patriots ruined that home game for the Jets, and I think the Jets return the favor. I think this is an opportunity for the Patriots to be 6-4 going into that Minnesota Thanksgiving game, and I think the Jets get them. I really do. I think the Young Bucks show up in this game. They do what they did in Green Bay, and they get a very, very nice emotional road victory against a very tough guy who's just like in Bill Belichick, who's been shitting on this franchise for the last few years. So. Randy also says Sauce Gardner's nickname is the Pandemic because he's shutting everybody down. I like that too.
His name should be Fauci then.
Yeah, but then Sauce would be doing it for all the wrong reasons if his name was Fauci.
He'd be the only one out there without a helmet on. You don't need a helmet.
Just put a paper mask on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the Jets in that one. So give me the Jets.
So that's a clean sweep. We're all going with Jets, huh?
Yes, they did.
All right. All righty.
That'll move us on to a game. Again, it's not a sexy matchup at all. At all. But it is a matchup that is very close, and because of injuries and other things, this one could be a nail biter, and it's a coin flip in my opinion. I wonder if you and Randy think the same thing as far as it being a coin flip. But the New Orleans Saints, 3-7, 2-4 at home, very erratic play, are going to be playing the Rams in the Genius, 3-6 and 1-2 on the road. The Rams are 3.5-point underdogs, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Who do you got in this game?
I need a quarter. Where's Walt, man? Where's Walt? I need Walt for this one.
Yeah, Walter needs to make the pick.
Let me see. Honestly, this is gonna sound rhetorical, bro. I don't know, because I've given up on the Saints, bro. I've given up. Every time I pick them, they lose. They lose every time I pick them, and the Rams lose every time I pick them. So based on this one, I'm only gonna go with. This is gonna sound funny to you. I don't know if you're gonna get a laugh out of it. I don't know, bro. But the way I'm picking this one, I like the New Orleans Saints logo better than the Rams logo, so I'm gonna go. That's the only reason I'm picking the Saints, bro, because I like their logo and their colors are better than the Rams, bro. I can't pick them. I can't pick this game out with the honest eye, bro. They're both trash teams, bro. They're both garbage. It's honestly a coin flip. I don't care what the over under is. I don't care who's favored by what. I'm going with the Saints because I like their logo and their colors.
And my number one pick is going to be out for this game for fantasy, Cooper Kupp. So there we go with that one. I think in this game, if Jameis Winston was starting, I'll say it again. If Jameis Winston was starting, I'd take the Saints. But I'm done picking the Saints. Give me the Rams. I think I'm picking the Rams for another dumb reason. I do like Campbell's soup, and even though I hate McVay, That soup looked really good. If you've ever tried the soup, the gumbo,
This guy.
the gumbo's pretty good. So
And the soup sounds more interesting than this whole entire game
it
does.
does. The gumbo soup by Campbell's is pretty damn good. I'll give it credit. Let's go with what Randy went with here. Let me check in on Randy's picks. Randy would go. He says definitely a coin flip, but he's going to go with the Rams. They both lose and make NFL history. Sonia says. So,
I hope they get a tie. That would be awesome, bro. They get a tie.
oh, that would be great. I mean, talk about stick a fork in both those teams at that point.
I hope it. Honestly, I hope it's a tie, bro. I hope it's a 3-3 tie.
Who knows? It might be. That'll move us on to another game, which is kind of interesting as well. Again, not sexy on paper, but this could turn into a very close game because of how both styles have played. This is either going to be a really close game or a super blowout. The New York Giants 7-2, 4-1 at home against the Detroit Lions 3-6, 1-3 on the road. Believe it or not, the Lions are only a 3-point underdog, and it will be 51 degrees and sunny, so weather will not play a factor in this one.
You're waiting on my pick, huh?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to be out of this one, too. This is another close game, but this isn't nowhere near what the Saints and the Rams are. This one's actually going to have points, and it's going to be entertaining, and, the crowd's going to be into it. Detroit can actually put a 3-game win streak together if they get this one. They beat the Bears and they beat the Packers. Now, if they go on the road and they beat the New York Giants, they're gonna be trying to make the playoffs. As crazy as that sounds, do you really trust Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones to get the job done? I know that the Lions have a really bad defense, but they also have a really good offense. But with that being said, thinking about it, how Dan Campbell's on the hot seat and all that, I think this team is just playing for Dan Campbell. But the New York Giants, they're a little bit more calm and collective, and they know how to get the job done. They're a lot more trustworthy than the Detroit Lions. If you go with the Detroit Lions, it's going to be one of those boneheaded decisions where you'll be smacking your head, you'll be face palming yourself, wondering why you picked the Lions. They've been bad all year, and they had 2 divisional wins. Remember that they had wins against divisional teams, and one of them being Green Bay, who was on the downside of things, and Chicago, who hasn't gotten the job done. They're like a year away from getting it done. But with that being said, I'm going to go with the New York Giants. They're a better team. No. They got better players, better roster, better team, better coaching, better record, and a better win. Papa John's, New York Giants.
There you go. I'm gonna go with the Giants as well. I do like the Lions to keep this game close, whether it's for a half or for the whole game. So I will think that they're going to generate some boos from the New York Giants fans, as far as like fans being a little scared that the Lions are in there, but that late. But I think the Giants do get the victory in this one at some point. I don't think they could stop Saquon Barkley. But in this game, Randy also picks the Giants. Sonia makes a pick. She goes with the Lions in an upset. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see if she's correct or not. But hey, this might be a surprising football game right there. So 3 against 1. Really
quick. I thought that just came into my head before it goes away, and I forget to mention it to you. Since Sonia likes football, you should have her. I don't know how close you and her are to each other, but I think that you should. She's listening right now. Sonia, you should you and your girls that watch football, I almost said you guys, you ladies should have a female football podcast show, just like how me and Todd are having. But if you know them in person, like get in a table and talk about football. It's rare when females talk about football. You guys will generate a nice little audience because it's females talking about football. So I'm just pitching the idea out there for you.
There you go. She could. She knows her sports. She knows a lot of sports. So, and there are a lot of fans that are on the Angels page that know multiple sports too, not just baseball. Because she lives in Washington, by the way. So she's
the state or Washington D.C.
D.C. She's over there.
D.C. Oh, okay.
She's in the Maryland area. So.
Oh, she's in what do they call it? The tri-state area.
Yeah. So with that being said, we move on to the next game. It's time for Broncos country. Let's ride.
That's right.
The Broncos are 3-6, 2-2 at home, playing the Raiders, who are 2-7, 0-5 on the road. Let's see if Captain Eyeliner will be crying after this game. That should just tell you if they're going to be playing their 6th road game in just the 10 games, they have a shit ton of road game or home games to finish out the year. They are only 2.5 point underdog on the road, so this is almost a pick'em game right here. Check these stats out real quick, bro. The Raiders are averaging 22 points scored per game. They are allowing 25. The Broncos are averaging, with Russell Wilson, mind you, not Drew Lock and terrible other draft picks by John Elway. They're averaging, with Russell Wilson, 14.6 points a game. The defense is allowing just 16.6 points a game. So what happens here with the Raiders and Broncos?
And the Raiders are underdogs, right, by 2 points or whatever, 2 or 3 points?
2.5.
2.5. That's only because they're the road team. If they were the home team, it'd be vice versa. In this one, dang, Nathaniel Hackett versus Josh McDaniel. I can't even turn to the coaching on this one, man. Coaching. This one's surely about the talent on the field. I think that Denver's got a better defense overall. They can stop the Raiders' offense. They can smother the Raiders' offense. I think because of that, I think that Denver's defense is going to prevail on this one. Their offense, as long as they can just take care of the ball and not give up anything stupid to Devontae Adams, they'll be just fine, because Darren Waller has been absolutely forgotten, bro. I don't even know when was the last time Darren Waller made a highlight for that team. Like, yeah, that dude Josh McDaniels is absolute butt cheeks, bro. He's just straight ass cheeks. He might be the worst coach right now, even worse than Cliff Kingsbury, because at least Cliff Kingsbury gets in these tight games, but Josh McDaniels is just straight ass, bro. So give me the Denver Broncos in this one.
Remember when there was a tight ends? Everyone was saying it's Kelsey, Waller, and Kittle. Which one's the best tight end in football? By far, it's Kelsey, because the Chiefs have not changed their mojo as far as feeding the ball to Kelsey. The Niners have gone away and used Kittle more of as a blocking tight end, as Steve Lease would say. And then also, like you just said right now, Josh McDaniels is like, we have Darren Waller, let's not use him. And then he's been injured too. So, but I mean, it's like they steered away from one of their best weapons.
Not only that, I don't want you to get away from the point, but you serve a great point. What about Mark Andrews? He hasn't been the same tight end this whole entire year. TJ Hawkinson was having a down year with the Detroit Lions. He had to get traded, and now he finally had a really good game against Washington from Minnesota, and a decent game against the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. I didn't think about it like that. The tight ends, I remember everybody was making a big deal about tight ends. It's a new day in the NFL, but tight ends have been forgotten about. Nobody but you has mentioned it.
And see, the thing is too, like as far as my own team, when the Seahawks got off to that slow start, we weren't using the tight ends, and now all of a sudden we're using Noah Fant. Noah Fant's turning into a productive player, and he's showing up in the stat board where he wasn't earlier, and he was a legit tight end with the Denver Broncos. So the tight ends can really help your team more than hurt them. Yeah, you would like for them to be an extra blocker, but if you use them as a blocker all the time, they're just another offensive lineman, and you're not using their real exploitation out there on the field, which is the receiving capability and the play action. It opens up the play action so much when you have a really good tight end, like you said, with Hawkinson and other guys.
Yeah,
like that.
with the delay routes, like they just throw a quick little chip block to help out the defense, help block the defensive end, and they take off on the delayed route.
Exactly. And one correction right here Randy got me with is she's not in Maryland, it's Virginia. So that's my bad. I keep forgetting.
Virginia.
I want to think she's in Maryland, but she's in Virginia. She's told me a few times that I'm forgetting. So my bad, Sonia. Randy, with that being said, goes with the Broncos. He also says, I hate you, Todd, for hating on my Fresno State alumni, meaning Carr, because I make fun of Captain Eyeliner. He calls me a douche.
So, Randy's going with Denver, you said?
Yeah, he's going with Denver. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I don't know why, but I have a feeling this is my biased pick that Captain Eyeliner will cry his way to a victory. And
that's
Broncos,
the reason I'm picking against the Raiders, honestly, because he came out all soft-spoken, all crying and tears choking up. If you want to talk about, I know this is going to be a little bit in the politics category, but that's being woke right there, being exaggerating over everything right there. He's exaggerating over everything.
Oh yeah,
he lost 2 points with me right there.
I agree. There's no crying in football, like Tom Hanks said.
Be a man. Be a man.
Exactly. Be a man. You're almost 40.
Yeah, you get paid millions.
Exactly. Now, here's a classic case of believe in the hype. Here's a classic case of when people say America's team, this is why they are America's team, because they get the benefit of the doubt no matter what, because they have that one-star logo on their helmet. and that is the Dallas Cowboys 6-3, 2-2 at away from Dallas, Texas, versus the Vikings, who are 4-0 at home, 8-1 overall. The reason why I say why are they getting so much love and respect being the America's team, because this point spread is stupid. I think you should have more respect and shade thrown towards the Vikings. I think this one should be at least a touchdown, but they're making this almost a coin flip. The Cowboys are only a 1.5 underdog in Minnesota, so that is a popularity contest if I ever saw one myself. But in this game, the Cowboys are averaging 23 a game, allowing 18. The Vikings are scoring 25 and allowing 21. Who do you think in this game is going to get the victory? There's a lot of star power.
You want to get my honest opinion on this one?
I sure do.
Wait for it.
Boy, I'm waiting. Can't hear nothing.
You can't hear it?
Nope. I can't hear nothing.
Oh, you can't hear it? It's a skull chant from the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going with the Vikings on this one, simply because, dude, the Buffalo Bills are a better team. Hold on. Before I get super biased on this one, I got to give an honest opinion on this one. The only reason I see Minnesota losing this game is because of a huge letdown, because of the same reason why the Buffalo Bills can lose this week as well. Is because of a huge letdown, because of all the emotions and energy. Because if you remember Minnesota in the miracle game against the Saints, what happened the week after? So much energy was put into that one game, and teams do have letdowns. It's been proven time in and time again. It just happens. And that's what I could see happening. I can honestly see Minnesota losing this one. This could be the one that Minnesota drops right here. But with so much media hype behind the Dallas Cowboys and so much disrespect to the Minnesota Vikings, the Vikings aren't going to come out and publicly say it to anybody. They're not that type of a team. They let their actions speak louder than their words. I think that's going to motivate the Minnesota Vikings to put an absolute ass kicking on the Dallas Cowboys, because the Minnesota Vikings are getting absolutely no love, no shine from any direction in the media. So they're going to use the precious little media puppet, the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to make an example out of them. And yes, I am 100% biased on this pick, because I want to see Dallas Cowboys get absolutely destroyed in this game. And it's time for Minnesota to start getting some more and more respect as the season goes on. So I'm going with Minnesota on this one.
It's sad that the Vikings would not get their just due by beating the Bills. I think if they beat the Cowboys, because it's the Cowboys, they will finally start to get some love from the national media.
I don't think so. I think what's going to end up happening, I know I'm cutting into your prediction, but I want to say one thing. I think what's going to end up happening is if Minnesota wins this game, the media is going to find a way to spin around Minnesota and beat around the bush, and they're going to be like, well, Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions, and they won't mention to who he threw the interceptions to. They'll just be like, he had 2 bad plays. That's why the Dallas Cowboys lost. You know, the Cowboys offensive line didn't block the defense. They'll just say anything to avoid the Minnesota Vikings name, players, or any strategic form. They're going to do that. They're going to be political. They're going to find a way where they'll mention Minnesota maybe for a split second, but then they'll just take it away with the Dallas Cowboys. They're not going to give the Vikings no respect, and that's actually helping out the Vikings in the momentum that we got.
Well, I think right now no, it's okay. I was just going to say, I know they gave them about 30% credit for last week's victory over the Bills. They mostly just called it a great victory, a great game of game of the year type deal. But they didn't say, oh, this is a statement win or nothing. I think if the Vikings were to blow out the Cowboys, yes. And yes, I do believe how the Cowboys lost last week. You heard the Kellen Moore stuff, he didn't call enough run plays, stuff like that. So there will be some excuse train. I just think it'll be more 50-50. The Vikings will get more love this time around. Randy's going with the Vikings. So is Sonia. I'm going to go with the Vikings. The only way I see the Cowboys losing this game is if Ezekiel Elliott, a.k.a. the Ewok from Star Wars, goes off along with the other backup running back.
Pollard.
Yeah, Pollard. If Pollard and him can tag team for about 180 and keep that Vikings offense off the field as much as they can, they have a chance to win. But if I'm a gambler, if I had the money to put down right now, I'd throw at least 200 on the over on this one or on the points. Give me the Vikings and the points. Because 1.5 is too little, dude. I mean, you have to take the points in that one.
Bro, I'm telling you, they're gonna spank the Dallas Cowboys. They're gonna destroy the Cowboys. They're gonna use this game as an example. This is gonna be a direct punch to the media right here. The Vikings are gonna come out and they might. I'm telling you, they might drop 50 on the Cowboys. It's gonna be
I don't know about
unnecessary and
that.
all this and that. They're gonna do something. They're gonna do something crazy to the Dallas Cowboys because this is the media's number one team to talk about, bro. This is the team that the Minnesota Vikings are. They're eager to get the Dallas Cowboys, bro. I'm telling you, it's a shot at the media. This is their one time to get at the media.
Exactly. Well, we'll see, man. I mean, I don't think they're going to score 50, but this is the opportunity, like you said, to make a statement. Sonia also says, I hate the Cowboys. She's a woke fan, so you could see that one coming. And she also says, didn't Prescott hurt his hand late in the game last week, his thumb? I haven't heard too much about that, but he likely cried away that injury. He'll be fine. He'll be fine in this game. That'll move us on to the a game that it does not look good on paper, but it's a divisional game. We saw what happened last Thursday, and we see what can happen any week when two divisional rivals go at it with a long history. And the Cincinnati Bengals have a long history, 5-4, 2-3 on the road as they go into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, 3-6, 2-2 at home. Steelers coming off a victory, they are 3.5 points. Actually, the Bengals are 3.5 point underdogs. Oh, no, favorites. The favorites, 3.5 point favorites on the road. Weather should be partly cloudy, 46 degrees. Steelers come in only scoring 15 points a game. One of the league's worst offenses, giving up 23, which isn't too bad. But the Cincinnati Bengals, a little banged up themselves, but they come into this game. Who do you got and why in this game?
Easy one to pick, right? The Bengals look like a far superior team. They got better wide receivers. The Steelers have been struggling. Najee Harris hasn't been heard of. It's just a no-brainer to go with Cincinnati in this one. But so it was a no-brainer last time that these two teams met up, and Pittsburgh ended up beating the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's why I always say, man, the divisional games are always the games that always like you can almost predict it's a 98% chance that the bad team is going to win in this one. The team with the worst record might win they got a 98% chance of winning the game. So I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to get to win this one. I'm not sure if Jamar Chase is going to play in this one, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. It's just, man, dude, these divisional games, like it's a no-brainer to go with Cincinnati, but that's a trap game right there. That's where you're like you overlook the team, and Cincinnati might do the same thing. Pittsburgh's been looking absolutely terrible, but they've also had some good moments, bro. Don't be surprised if Pittsburgh wins this one. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay, going with Pittsburgh. Randy seems to think opposite. He's going to go with the Bengals in this one. I'm going to agree with Randy on this one. I think the Bengals get back at him a little bit here. This is not going to be a blowout. It's not going to be a blowout. Tomlin has pride. The Steelers have pride. These teams, if there's ever a blowout in this series, it's usually the Steelers who blow out the Bengals. Usually when teams are at their full strength, we've seen some great games where the Steelers, and the Bengals go to like a 39-37 type game. This one's not going to be like that. It could be like a 20-16 game. You saw how they forced the Bengals into a lot of mistakes the last time these two teams played. So this is a team that Tomlin's very aware of and very, used to. So, and he has a winning record overall. So I could easily see the Steelers winning this game. It's going to be a damn near close game. Again, 5.5 point, or no, I said 3.5 point favorites are the Bengals. I like the Bengals to win by that margin. So give me the Bengals to beat the Steelers. I'm going to agree with Randy there. That'll move us on to a game that this reminds me of the Niners and Rams. This is going to be like how the Niners, when they come to SoFi Stadium, it's a Niner home game. Kansas City's going to come and it's going to be all red. It's going to be paint the town red in LA as the Chargers host the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 7-2 playing the banged up Chargers. There's a lot of injuries on this one, questionable players. Right now, Christian Covington's on the injured reserve. Otto Obadaga, whatever, their two defensive tackles are on the injured reserve. Dustin Hopkins, their kicker, is questionable for this one again. Gerald Everett, their tight end, is questionable. That's a big target. DeAndre Carter, who is questionable as well. We don't know if the two big stars, well, Williams is out. They could have another guy. What's the other receiver, their best receiver?
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, I think, is going to be out in this game. With that being said, also the Chiefs have some problems at wide receiver. Mecole Hardman is questionable. Juju Smith-Schuster may not play. Valdez Scantling might not play.
Jesus.
Yeah, so there's a lot of injuries on both sides. And despite all that I just said, the over-under on this game is 50, and the Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites on the road. They are averaging 30 points a game. Obviously, it's indoors here in L.A. Who do you got and why in this one?
I'm gonna go with Kansas City. I thought back to I wanted to go with the Chargers initially, but I had to take a step back and really think about it. The only reason I wanted to go with the Chargers at first is because I want to say in Justin Herbert's rookie season, he actually put up a dogfight. He put up a dogfight with the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, that was unexpected. The Chargers have been a pretty good team against the Chiefs. It's a divisional game, and I just said that 98% of the time, the bad team will probably win against a better team in divisional games. That's probably overreacting on. There's probably more of like a 60% chance that the bad team will win. But yeah, man, I think that all those injuries are going to pile up. Justin Herbert hasn't lived up to what he's supposed to be. I think Patrick Mahomes, they're going to want to put the Chargers down and out. Andy Reid is a hell of a coach. And yeah, even though all those wide receivers are down and out for Kansas City, bro, they look what they came into the season with. They came in, everybody was like, "Oh, the Chiefs, they lost Tyreek Hill. They're not going to be the same team." They still got Travis Kelce, and then they can also call screens, the running backs. And they also traded for Kadarius Toney from the Jets, or the Giants, I should say. And he looked pretty good, and I think that the Chiefs are going to get the job done. I don't trust that dude Brandon Staley, bro. I do not trust that guy. I flat out, I don't like him. I don't like him because he's too much of a gambler, and he makes Justin Herbert a lot. He makes him play a lot more dumber than where he's supposed to be playing, bro. He's a better player than that, but Brandon Staley's guiding him in the wrong direction. So give me the Chiefs.
Okay. Going the Chiefs on that one. I'm going to agree with that only for one reason, and that's the injuries. I think the Chiefs can overcome their injuries. The Chargers, I think, can't. They played inspired football. I think if the Chargers had all their weapons last week, defensively they showed up very good. Asante Samuel played great corner over there. He's very underrated for the Chargers. And, the first time these two teams played, it was a couple dropped interceptions that turned the tide in the game. Otherwise, the Chargers win in Kansas City. But that was when they had most of their horses. I think they were only minus Keenan Allen half of that game. They had Mike Williams the entire game making great catches. And then that was before the injury to Herbert. Herbert has not looked the same since that injury a few weeks back. So with that being said, him playing a little different, being maybe a little more apprehensive, the offense not being able to put four quarters together. They're still a good football team at 5-4.
Yeah.
But I just think it's going to take a while for them to get healthy. They could be a team that in the last 3-4 weeks really turns it on and makes a push in the playoffs. But for right now, I think the Chiefs are the better team. They are the better talent. They are the better Papa John's pizza. They are the thick crust while the Chargers are thin crust. Give me the Chiefs.
Now the Chargers are going to be the crust on the pizza in this game. They're going to be crusty.
There you go. They're the crust that they throw away at the end of the what do you call it? The end of the night there at Papa John's. But right away too, Randy and Sonia also go with the Chiefs in this one as well. So there you go.
Make sure you hold on to your picks, Sonia. Make sure you hold on to your picks, and then if you're with us next week, you can join the party.
Exactly, and then next week make picks on all the games.
Yeah.
That'll move us to the Monday night game. As I forgot to mention, this game we just talked about, Chargers and Chiefs, will be your Sunday night spectacular. It was flexed in, I believe.
Wow, that game got flexed.
Yeah, because that game was I think they played Sunday night too the first time they played around. So this is a second time they'll be on Sunday Night Football. With that being said, the 49ers will travel to Mexico.
Hold on. I'm looking at the schedule. Hold on. I know I cut you off, man, and that's rude of me to do it. But how are they going to flex that game in over the Jets and Patriots, bro? Like, if you look at it like that, bro, the Chiefs are always in prime time, and the Chargers, they get their prime time because of the Chiefs. But come on, bro, let's give the Jets some love out here in prime time, bro. The Jets and the Patriots should have gotten flexed into the Sunday night. That's a massive game. That's more massive than the damn mediocre Chargers, and with all these injuries and then all these wide receivers missing for the Chargers. for the Chiefs. That's disrespectful to all football fans, bro. I think that the Patriots and the Jets game is a hell of a lot better. That might be the game of the week right there, bro. That's disrespectful to all fans of that love football, bro. That's just my opinion.
Well, I would say the point is correct with what you're saying, but what they did here, and I read up on this, why they could not flex that game in particular. The Jets and Patriots is going to be your CBS game of the week. So any game of the week that's claimed by the networks, Fox and CBS, those are protected. But any other game, like say for instance they wanted to take the Buffalo Cleveland game, they could have did that.
But they could have also, since that game got flexed, the Chiefs and the Chargers, that's a CBS game. That could be a CBS broadcasting game. That could be their game of the week since it's already on primetime. I don't know, man. I could just sit here. I'm going to defend 100% for that Jets and Patriots game. That game is going to be more meaningful. Not so many people are going to watch the Chargers and Chiefs as much as the Patriots and the Jets, but that's just my opinion.
Well, that's just the rule with the NFL, that they're able to take they're able to give CBS and Fox one game to protect a week. So
okay.
Yeah, and if you claim that game, like say for instance they wanted to flex the Dallas Minnesota game, they wouldn't be able to.
Because that's the game of the week, right?
That's the game of the week, yeah.
America's game of the week, even though like 90% of those American games of the week nobody watches, only the fan base. I mean, people watch it because it's on like bars and all that, so they get the ratings. But those games they're normally not that good.
Yeah, it's like that. Like they could have took the Denver game, they could have took the Giants game. Like say for instance those records were better with the Bengals Pittsburgh, they could have flexed that game. But they looked at this game. I think they have 2 weeks to flex them. And then they were looking at the Chargers a little bit healthier a couple weeks ago, and we're like, oh, okay, let's take the Kansas City Chiefs and Chargers. Because I forgot who they had in the Sunday night slot before that, so I don't know.
I think it was Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, if I remember. It might.
Well, yeah, they flexed out of that for obvious reasons. All right, so we'll move on to Mexico and Monday Night Football. The Arizona Cardinals and I took a geography lesson in this one. I remember from a couple years ago, the Chiefs played the Chargers down there in Mexico, and they were saying, and Steve Lee's told me the same thing, that that stadium that they're going to play in is a higher stadium altitude than Denver. So breathing's going to be a little difficult up there. And I remember the Chargers and Chiefs had a crazy game up there because of that. They had to play through some pretty tough conditions. It's an outdoor stadium. The weather looks good for this one. Actually, the Niners are 8-point favorites, and probably a little more because they don't know the status of Kyler Murray at this point. Colt McCoy has a chance of starting this game, even though Kyler Murray is 0-2 since as a starter and not played a week since the release of Call of Duty. So I did see a meme of that, and I thought of you, Carlos, because I had never heard about that up until I saw a couple memes, until you said it, and then I saw a couple memes about Kyler Murray. But, yeah, Kyler Murray.
That's funny right there, bro.
It showed him playing a video game, too. He was all focused. But the Cardinals are 4-6 with Captain Sunglasses, and the Niners fresh off being above 500 for the first time in a few weeks. Do the Niners keep rolling, or do the Cardinals pull the upset?
Before I give you my pick on this one, bro, I gotta troll this game a little bit. I remember when they had a game, it was the Raiders versus, I can't remember who the Raiders were playing over there in Mexico, bro. I can't remember. It was years ago. I can't remember, honestly. I think it was Derek Carr that was the quarterback at the time still. But I just remember, the one thing I remember about that game is that people were pointing lasers at Derek Carr's like it was visible, like you can see the thick laser, and they can't. It's not like over here in the U.S. where they don't like do a thorough check or anything like that. People are going to bring in lasers and they're going to try and blind these quarterbacks. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. I'm going to see how many times these quarterbacks get hit with lasers. I can only imagine what the coaches are going to do. So in this one, Coach Kingsbury actually has a reason to wear his sunglasses. He might actually throw two of the bad boys on to protect them from all those lasers. But if you're waiting for my pick, I'm going with the 49ers on this one because of Papa John's. I'm going to go with the better team, better roster, better record, better coaching, better win. San Francisco, Papa John's, baby.
There you go. It's hard to argue that. And Randy says, haven't the Niners played the most games down there in Mexico, and I believe he's right. I think they've played 3 games because I remember a game a while ago when they first went down to Mexico with Jeff Garcia. That's how long ago it was. And I remember they had a stadium. It wasn't this same stadium that they're playing in now, but it was more in the city of Mexico and more of a soccer stadium than the one that they're actually playing in. And I remember they had barbed wire on the field. Like they had these fences and barbed wire because they were scared the fans were going to jump onto the field and cause problems. So, I mean, it was more hostile there. I remember how scared some of the players were, but that's just me throwing in some useless trivia or useless commentary. Yeah, but no, the Niners are gonna they should roll them. Kyler Murray or no Kyler Murray, I think they're gonna start to really turn the page here and get better as they move forward in the season. Unfortunately, I hate saying that being a Seahawks fan because I know the inevitable. They're going to jump us in the standings. There's just no doubt. So I this is just another win in their cap here for them, I believe. And Sonia and also Sonia didn't pick on this one yet, but Randy went with the Niners. He's all in on them as well.
You went with the Niners as well?
I did, yeah.
I was just waiting for everybody's prediction to come through, and I know you can't see it on my phone screen. But I wrote down everybody's initial before the picks went out because it was just that obvious.
Yeah, well, since you're on that already right now, let's jump on to let's finish this one out because we've been on almost 2 hours or about 2 hours. Let's give the synopsis on who picked who before we get out of here.
Like the games, who picked what teams?
Yes, sir.
All right, if everybody's ready for my long-winded rant right here, or long-winded response, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Thursday Night Football, Tennessee Titans versus the Green Bay Packers. In Green Bay, Carlos and Todd picked the Tennessee Titans. Green Bay was chosen by Randy. Sunday to start festivities off, Chicago at Atlanta. I was the only one that went with Atlanta. Todd and Randy went with Chicago. Then we follow that up with Cleveland at Buffalo. It was a clean sweep. We all went with Buffalo. Next game on the slate is Philadelphia going into the Colts, and me and Todd picked the Colts. Randy stuck with the Eagles. Then the game after that, the New York Jets, clean sweep to beat the New England Patriots. We all went with the Jets over the Patriots. Then the following game, the Rams versus the New Orleans Saints. I went with the Saints strictly because I like their logo and colors better. And then Todd and Randy stuck with the Rams. Detroit Lions versus the New York Giants. We all picked the New York Giants to beat the Lions. Carolina at Baltimore. We all picked the Baltimore Ravens on that one. Washington at Houston. I was the lone wolf with that one, with picking Houston to beat Washington. You two went with Washington. The Raiders going into Denver. It's a mile high. Todd, you chose the Raiders, and me and Randy picked the Broncos. A clean sweep in the Dallas versus Minnesota game. We all went with Minnesota. Randy and Todd went with Cincinnati, and I was the lone wolf again, picking Pittsburgh. And then for the Sunday night game, Kansas City, it was a clean sweep. We all picked Kansas City over the Chargers. And then to finish off week 11, think about that. We're going to be heading into week 12 soon. Mm-hmm. We all clean sweeped over the Arizona. We all picked the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Cardinals.
Exactly. And then, by the way, Sonia's also going with the Niners right there. She said, sorry, she got distracted.
She's okay.
So there you go. So those are our picks for this week. See how you guys did and gals did. Check back in with us on Wednesday. That's when we do our picks. Also, we're going to be jumping on, like I said, we're going to have a couple pages. Most likely that one, I'm going to get with Carlos about switching over that in the zone one to out of bounds for our Facebook. We need somebody to start posting on there, because that's got a bunch of people that are following it. I haven't done nothing with that page in a while. And then we should have the Instagram one as well. So with that being said, check us out here for the picks on Wednesday and then our highlights on Tuesday. And like he said, man, we're going to be heading into week 12 or week 11. Week 11 moving forward. And it's crazy to say, like, it just seems like football started a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's sad but true. But before you know it, we're going to be counting down the days to the NFL draft.
Exactly. It'll be that big lull where the NFL is done for a while. Because it seems like NFL's done, or it's gone more than it's here. basically.
Yeah, yeah. Think about it like this, man. The way I'm going to end this show, because you're always looking for final thoughts on me. This is I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on this one on this show. Think about it, and it's non-football related. So I want to end the show on saying this. Thanksgiving is next week. I know a lot of people are gonna celebrate it, and then people are gonna be watching football and all that. It's a time for everybody to get together and with the family and eat together and all that. But I also wanted to point out that we're only 6 weeks. We're getting closer and closer to the new year happening, which only means that we're inching closer and closer to a quarter century of the new millennium, if you believe it or not. So for anybody that wanted to feel that much older, yeah, we're about to be 25 years into the new millennium. Remember when the Y2K thing was a thing?
Yes, true, man. It just seems like yesterday on that as well, dude.
Yeah. I was born in '87, but that makes me feel really, really old, bro. Like thinking about that 25 years, like that's a quarter of a century. Like that's if you look at it in a dollar, that's a quarter of a dollar, bro. It's insane, bro. It's insane how fast time flies.
It is, and it's kind of sad too, because I mean, like if you think Y2K, to follow up on your comment, like that gets overshadowed by 9/11. 9/11 changed everything. I mean that was my 21st birthday, so that should date me right there. But just the fact that, goddamn, dude, the world was a different place at that time, the Y2K, and we all thought that was going to change the world, and it didn't do shit. And then all we did was move our clocks forward.
You know how you can always prove that all of that stuff is false and just like to hype people up or whatever, turn people crazy. You have to pay attention to it like this. In the U.S., I think we're the last country to celebrate the New Year. I think we are Australia, right? So if something happens over in China, it's going to automatically happen over here in the United States, right? So because there's a large gap in time, they're already like a day or however many hours in advance. So when the New Year happens over there, if nothing happens in China or wherever the new day starts, then nothing's going to happen over here, bro. That's what I always looked at. I was like, wait, Russia and all them over there, they're perfectly fine. The computers didn't shut down over there, and it's already the year 2000 over there, and we're stuck in 99, and everything's working perfectly fine over there. You seen everybody celebrating and all that. I was like, oh, yeah, that's when I started figuring out that it was just all media hype.
Yeah. And then nobody saw the ramifications of what happened later on, and like you said, like it's been 20 years. It's crazy, man. I mean, I remember just like yesterday, it was 2010, and we had boy bands still singing. Now that's a thing of the past. And
if it makes anybody feel that much older, MTV used to play music videos. I don't even know if MTV's still around, but yeah, that station used to play music videos, and people used to tune in and watch the top 10 countdowns. I remember that.
Yeah, well, think about it, dude. I think 2006 was around the last time they stopped playing like a mostly music videos. They went to all shows. I think it was 2006. Might have been 2005. But we're approaching 20 years that they haven't been playing music videos, so that should tell you something.
Man, it's scary, bro. It just makes me think of how much longer we got on this planet. But let's not get into that conversation. I know it was a football podcast, so let's just wrap this baby up.
Yeah, well, real quick, Matthew McWilliams checks in. He says, "What's up, guys? Dude, you came in a little bit late. Next week, bro, come in on Tuesday. We will do our what do you call it? The highlight show, and then Wednesday we'll have the prediction show, dude. So come in a little bit earlier. We're gonna be probably starting the show around 5:00 for both shows, no doubt. Matthew McWilliams, huge Dolphins fan. We gave your Dolphins love last week. I think they have the bye week this week, right?
Yeah, I was just looking to see if they played anybody, and I couldn't remember. But yeah, they're on the bye week. But they're gonna win this week, Matt. Don't worry about it. They're catching a W this week. They're not losing.
Yeah, they're not gonna do what the Broncos did last week and lose on their bye. So you guys should be all right. So, So with that being said, this is Todd Fox along with
Mr. Carlos goes on.
There you go. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Sonia, for participating in the show, and everyone else listening, as well as Matthew McWilliams. Shout out to him.
I know we can get sucked into the podcast again and all that, because when I'm watching podcasts and streamers on YouTube or wherever it is that I'm watching, I tend to forget that to hit the like and subscribe button. So if you guys can just hit the like and subscribe button, it'll help us out, and good things will come if we start to catch an algorithm.
Absolutely. So we'll look for some changes. This is a test run of Out of Bounds. We're going to have our shit together next season for sure. So as we grow, we'll grow with you. So there you go.
Thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.